As a kid, they always said honesty is the best policy. And when I was a cop, I always thought no one was above the law. And I was stupid and went to prison. When I got out of prison, I found that shit's just optional. I should have been an elected official. I would never have gone to prison. And that is not a lie.
It's
Seriously.
not even an exaggeration. Are you kidding? The corruption and by our politicians on both sides of the aisle now has reached new lows or highs, however you want to look at it. And we think about all the time me and you spent in prison, over 30 years between us, and what we did and we're doing is like nothing compared to what's going on right now. It's kind of disheartening.
It's totally disheartening. But the thing is, it's boiled down to two different areas. And the one is you've got the influencers, and I don't mean YouTube influencers, I
Yeah.
mean the money influencers. And then you've got the people who receive the money and are influenced, and they're doing it deliberately and willfully. When you have foreign governments here as lobbyists, how in the hell does that work? You know, I mean, and someone will say to me, and someone, I brought this up, someone said, well, look at, we influence other countries. I don't give a shit. We ain't talking about that. This whole country and this last election and all this time we've spun back to is make America great. How in the hell does a foreign power come in here, or country, and or whatever you want to call them, and give that kind of money to elections here? Why are they doing that? What's the reason behind that?
You're going to get something. I
Yeah.
mean, our president just started flying his new jet that the Qataris gave him,
Yeah.
a $400 million jet. But they
Yeah.
just did it because they're nice guys. Oh, they're not nice guys. It's this I was hoping a little better. The America First thing I understood. Don't go getting involved in everybody else's business. Don't start new wars. That sounded good. Let's take care of our own. As soon as he got in office, he did take care of our own, the top 1%. They got most of the tax cuts. Our little tax cuts that me and you got, and our Social Security and overtimes, that all it sunsets at the end of the year. Whereas the main tax cuts for the wealthy, they're permanent now, and I'm just not feeling it. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of people kind of got in their head in the sand about this, and they don't really realize. And it hasn't even started getting bad for us yet, Jack.
Yeah, it's like I don't have any class envy, and I don't. If someone makes $1 billion, I don't care. That's their deal. They inherited $1 billion. There's a lot of them that I don't care. But when the rules are all made for the billionaires, now I care, because there's a lot of people here. I've seen them. You've seen 'em. I'm in Iowa. You're in California. But we've been all around. And everywhere you go, there's a lot of people that just, I'm going to say it the way I can say it. They're just not quite smart enough, or haven't been offered enough opportunities mentally to be able to advance and get anywhere beyond where their little section of life is. And they're getting screwed. And I mean, they are getting screwed beyond screwed. Now they're getting screwed into the ground. And when
Yeah.
they tell me that we have to cut Medicaid, now they're talking Medicare, now they're talking Social Security. We have to cut these things, but we need to add more to the military budget. Why in the hell would we have to do that when we were not at war with anyone before? And please don't give me the nuclear weapons in Iran story, because they debunk that themselves.
Yeah, and the whole thing pretty much is self-explanatory. It's called the Department of War now, not the Department of Defense. And in reality, if we were really defending us and our main interests, we don't need to expand the budget. We're spending most of our money on attacking people now, and it's not the Department of Defense and these government contracts, like you said. It's all these people that are getting these contracts. Well, they've been given donating money for the ballroom, donating money for this, donating money for that, and they're getting these huge government contracts, and a lot of them are no bid contracts that are rushed through. And the one thing that really sticks with me, what you said, is there's a lot of people. I mean, I haven't did shit with my life, but that's on me. But I was born with a decent mind. I'm no genius, and I had opportunities in life, and I didn't make use of them. But there are a lot of people who really weren't born, you know, really, on top of things, and so they were going to be laborers and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I drive trucks. I know a million of them, but you want them to have a fair playing ground. Let them, if they work their ass off, put in overtime, own a home, and maybe be able to retire halfway comfortably when they're 70, and I feel bad. I feel bad for them people. Yeah, I feel bad for
I
me,
do.
but I even feel worse for them.
Well, it amazes me. When I went down here and volunteered at the food bank for quite a while when I first got out, and, it used to get me. I saw a politician who's very well to do complaining about, well, people go down and they don't even need that food, that they go down to the food bank and they're getting free food. Food that was getting thrown away by stores, by the way. These stores donate because they're going to throw it away. And a lot of it's not that good. This guy's bitching about that. Same person, and this one's a lady, are talking about, yes, we need to get more money in the military, more money up there. We got to get more. For what? We had the most powerful military in the world. We're going to get most powerful military in the solar system now. Is that what it is? I'm not sure we're going to do it. But the people around here are the places I see. When you're poor, the word poor has one meaning. You're poor. I
Yeah,
mean, you ain't got shit. And there's a lot of them around here that don't. And there are kids that go hungry right here in the state of Iowa. The breadbasket right here. And they want to let's go back to that deal that not only the military, but look how much money they spend on these dinners in the military. All the money spent in Washington to wine and dine people who make millions of dollars a year. And we want to pay for their rooms and for their dinners. And there's some kids right down about 6, 7 miles at the most from here in the hood, you know, walking to a grocery store I worked at down then, asked if they get a free cookie because they're hungry. That ain't bullshit. So tell me where that one's right at. I missed that class, you know?
yeah, and there's so many. It's like my sister. She goes, "Well, I won't watch the news. I don't even want to know anything about what's going on. It's depressing." And and it kind of irritates me actually. It's like if so many people don't pay attention and they're getting fucked. And it's getting worse. And if you don't pay attention and vote and have your voices heard and stuff like that, nothing's gonna happen. We I don't know. We've got to vote in somehow, get term limits in. I don't see it
But it is pretty much
happening.
it's like you said, and it is an issue with people who, and I'm be personally tell you for a while, I was starting to feel that way. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to see it anymore. And that is what people who are in power and who are the most corrupt, that's what they want you to do. When I was out in the world, people in that business world who were stealing money and moving it around, that's what they wanted. They wanted
Yeah.
you to not pay attention to them, you know? That's what they wanted. But we were smaller, so someone told and they paid attention to us. But up there, they don't. You've got to go out and vote and change it. And here's the thing: the one word gets tossed around all the time, but we need to follow through on it. Is transparency. Someone explained to me why things the government can withhold from us. Okay, they fucking work for us. We don't work for them, and
I
that's
don't
something
think so.
everybody forgot.
No, that's in theory, Jack. It
Yeah,
seems like we're
but
working
you
for them
you look
now.
it up, it's in the old rule book that those old guys with the ponytails and shit wrote.
Yeah,
It's in the
yeah,
rule book,
yeah, exactly.
and that's just it, and that's what gets you. They act like, "Well, we can't tell you about this is, bullshit." Now, I understand there's certain things in the deepest world of espionage,
Yeah,
maybe.
that we don't need to know.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
can't tell me why our Speaker of the House doesn't like to have his little budget talks with public listening in. Why is that? This is the same guy who says he can't live on was $174,000 a year or whatever it is because he has a family to support.
yeah,
The same
yeah.
guy, and they
How about
can't talk about
30,000 a
the
year?
oh, yeah. What about the Epstein files? You can't get those out there. We got this thing in Iran. We can't see that. We can't listen to the budget things. All you need to do is vote down your party line, and we'll tell you who to vote for. In fact, if you don't know, we'll just tell you, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and we'll just blitz your TV screen with them ads. I get a little bit of I don't know, I feel a little bit better about the fastest, growing trend in America is that people aren't they're considering themselves independents. But there's no independent candidates, and there's
No.
no independent political machine to get an independent candidate that's looking out for us. All we're getting just from the right and the left, and everybody's sick of both of them. And you know, I think we're heading to a tipping point where there might be a lot of people standing up and saying, "Hey, I'm tired of this shit. I can't eat. I can't put gas in my car. I have to work 3 jobs and I can't even have my kids in after school, athletics because I can't afford it." And I think it's getting to that point where maybe the no kings thing, that's like a starting point, and, something needs to change, and I'm hoping it changes.
Well, in prison, and you basically had each group had their little faction, but there are rules in prison, like there's supposed to be rules out here. The difference is in prison, once you're in prison, it's not the rules that put you in there, it's the rules that exist while you're there. You follow them son of a bitches.
Oh,
And if you
yeah.
want to find out what happens if you don't, just go ahead and try it. Just go
Yeah.
ahead and find out what happens if you don't follow those rules. Maybe they could transfer that out here. Maybe we need some shot collars in Washington, DC, you know, and a couple of their
Yeah.
bumper boys running around taking care of that shit. But that's what they need. And you're right. Now you can have like a two-party system. People all say, and I've heard this, they say, well, I'm an independent. I'm an independent. I'm an independent. No, you're not. You're full of shit. And I'm going to tell you why. And people go, they probably get offended by that. But no, you're full of shit. Because when it comes down to voting time, if someone runs as an independent, they don't get nowhere. You can have a third, a third, and a third,
Yep.
Republican, Democrat, Independent. I guarantee you that independent candidate won't get more than 5% of the vote.
Yeah, maybe 8 or 9 now. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Well, that's why I was saying there's no political machine behind them. Yeah, like I've talked with you, I'm hoping that Melinda Gates or Bezos' ex-wife just come in and say, "Look, I'll fund an independent, party and build it, and it'll take a few years, but something has to give here. It's just getting tough. I know a lot of people that are struggling. As shoot, you're in Iowa, you're really, and what's funny is I lean Democrat, and as a rule, I go vote like I vote in California. In California, you can vote for Republican or Democrat in the primaries, and I always leaned Democrat, but we're so controlled by the Democrats now. We have a super majority, and Gavin Newsom's just robbing us. We've got the biggest
No.
economy, of a state, one of the biggest economies in the world. We've got everything, natural resources. We have everything, and we're so far in debt, and and it's horrible. And we'll probably talk about this on another video about why it's like that. But I'm going to vote for this guy Hilton, and I'm not a Trump. I'm not. I'm anti-Trump. I don't like Trump, and this guy's a Trumpy. But California's broke, and if we elect another Democrat, just which we're going to do, it's going to keep happening.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to close this talk about Iowa is that the change is needed. It's a head in the sand thing, and it has to be. I'm an old Republican. I became a Republican myself. I was in a Democratic family. In junior high school, I kind of really got into politics. I was ahead of the young Republicans in high school. Anyway, and I've been up for a long time. We've really had a one-party system in Iowa quite a while. Republican senators, governors, the House, State House, all that there. And we need to change it. And people say, well, I can't believe you changed. Well, why wouldn't we? We're in last place and for startup, for small businesses. We were the number one in the country for education. Now we're middle of the pack. But we do lead the country in new cancer rates. And we've been doing that every year because we can't talk about agriculture negatively here, even though people are fucking dying from the chemicals in the ground that now Washington says, don't talk about that. That's part of national defense. And if someone can explain that one to me, I would certainly like to hear that argument.
Yeah, it's funny, that little fact is getting out on the news.
Oh,
People are talking about Iowa, national news being the worst cancer clusters, and they know why they know why
yeah, they do.
the fertilizer, and they know they could fix it. They refuse to.
Yeah, just do it. But money means more. The sanctity of life, which is a crock of shit. Anyway, that's it this week. This Jack and GT, a little rant from Fed Joints, Beer Joints. Stick around. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us your comments. Bash us up. Beat us up. We'll respond to you. Take care.